What's going on, guys? It is Wyatt, and today we're back working on the LML Duramax project. As you can see on this table here behind me, we have a ton of parts that all need to wind up in this engine, and that means we have a lot to do in this video. So let's go ahead, roll the intro, and jump right into the action.
Y'all want some fucking cheeseburgers? Friendly, wit redneck. Hi.
So like I said, today we are working on the LML project. We are going to be building the engine with all of these new parts behind me here, and we need to get that thing completely disassembled so that we can do so. Before we jump into tearing it all apart though, I'm gonna give you guys a real quick rundown on the parts that are here on this table. So most of this stuff is nothing special. Here we have some head gaskets, a complete engine gasket kit, a new fuel filter. We have our new rod bearings, cam bearings, main bearings, and thrust bearings, as well as some new head bolts, piston rings, thermostats, and a set of ARP head bolts. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna be using the ARPs yet or just a set of factory bolts. We also have a new dryer for the AC system, new AC seals, an orifice tube, and all of that stuff so that we can get the AC up and running in great shape. Some more basic parts, a brand new oil pump, brand new water pump, and a brand new harmonic balancer, all for the LML. A couple of the key upgrades that we're going to be doing while the engine is apart is this whole deal right here. This is a Cp3 Conversion Kit. This particular one is from Lincoln Diesel Specialties, and this is a industrial injection remand LBZ pump. It's just a stock size. I do not plan to make a ton of power on this engine, but a Cp3 conversion was definitely a must for me, as when the CP4 pumps, which are the high pressure pump that come on the LMLs, come apart, they tend to take out the entire fuel system with them. So the CP3 conversion was a must for me just to alleviate any headaches with that in the future. Another cool upgrade that we're doing is, again, an L5p Oil Cooler. These come on the 2017 to 19s. They will be a direct fit onto the older style engines all the way back to LB7s like we did on the race truck engine. So hopefully this will give us a little bit better oil cooling. They do have a little bit more cooling capacity than the older units did, and they are also cheaper. So good upgrade there. Along with those two components there, we're also going to be doing an upgraded turbocharger. This engine did have about 200,000 miles on it, so I wanted to have the factory turbo rebuilt. I have a local turbo builder that does all of our turbocharger repairs and replacements. He offers upgraded turbos, stock rebuilds, pretty much anything you can do with a turbocharger, he can get it done for you. So we went with a stock size compressor wheel, but did a billet wheel upgrade. They tend to move a little bit more air, a little bit better design than the factory wheel. So a good upgrade, and was just some good peace of mind having the turbocharger rebuilt so that we don't have to worry about any kind of turbocharger failure. And lastly, another big component to this build is the new crankshaft. This one is a new to me, but used LML crankshaft. This is from the guys over at SoCal Diesel. Big thanks to those guys for getting this out to me so fast. They had a good core in stock and were able to Magnaflux it and polish all of the journals for me, and then got it shipped right to my doorstep. So that is the last big piece that we were waiting on for this build. So the main reason for the CP3 upgrade and like the turbocharger upgrade is I just want a super reliable truck when we are towing the race car across country. I have no doubts that this truck's probably going to be going out to Florida, Texas a couple times a year, and I just want to have a truck that is super reliable for doing so. So that's the reason I have chosen these parts to put in this build. We're not really going for any big power. I'm going to probably put like a 60 horsepower tune on it and call it a day, and I just want it to be super reliable. So enough of me talking, let's go ahead, get this engine up on the engine stand over there and start getting it torn apart. And cue the time lapse. So guys, I interrupt the time lapse to show you a little bit more behind the scenes about these CP4 pumps. This is the pump here. It sits down in the valley of the engine, and this is what supplies up to about 28,000 PSI of fuel pressure to your fuel injectors. So right here, it is missing the fuel pressure regulator. I have gone ahead and pulled that guy out of there. It sits right there and is one of the fuel pressure regulators that actually regulates how much pressure goes into the system. Now I pulled that out because when those pumps come apart, they actually start to eat themselves apart, and they will send shrapnel through this regulator, and then it will go through the fuel rails, through the fuel lines, and all the way into the injectors. So when those pumps come apart, they take out the entire fuel system along with them, and that's something that I didn't want to run into. It's a good thing that I'm going to go ahead and replace this, because if you take a look here on this regulator, I'm not sure if the camera wants to pick that up, but you can actually see that there is quite a bit of shrapnel on the screen of this regulator. You can kind of see some shiny bits in there, and that would be from the pump starting to give up the ghost and send a bit of shrapnel through the fuel system. So luckily this screen does catch little bits of it until the pump decides to come apart completely, but that's just a little bit behind the scenes, as you guys can see there. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take that guy out and replace it. So let's go ahead, get back into the time lapse and get the motor the rest of the way took apart. Well guys, go ahead and fast forward 24 hours from the last clips you just saw of getting the engine torn apart. That was last night. I got pretty tired, so I just buttoned up and went home for the night. But today I have been pretty busy getting this thing prepped and ready for assembly. So turning the camera around, you can see that I have the engine here back on the engine stand. I've gone ahead and cleaned it all out. I took it outside, hit it with my Hotsy, got it as clean as I could. Blew it all out, brake cleaned it out, and it is now prepped and ready to go. I then went ahead and put our new main bearings in. These are just some Molly slightly upgraded bearings, but not the race ones. Got those in, went ahead and checked all of our bearing clearances with our new SoCal crankshaft there, a new used crankshaft that is, and everything turned out really good there. So main bearings are ready to go together for the final time. I got a couple of questions in the last video about what kind of engine assembly lube I use, and it's this stuff here from Redline. It's just their assembly lube, and I just use a little paintbrush or acid brush to put that on the bearings. So that's all the more there is to it. I have the bearing caps prepped here. I need to get the new main bolts out of the bags and lube those guys up, and then we're going to install this crankshaft for the last time, get it torqued down, and moved on to our pistons and rods. So let's go ahead, jump back into the time lapse, and get this all done.
back out, you know, you might just become famous.
You're an idiot. All right, guys, we are over here at the shop. There's been a couple changes of scenery throughout getting this engine put together, and then I did not film pretty much putting the whole top end on the engine. Kind of touch on that more at the end of the video, but for right now, the engine is complete and we're getting ready to put it in the truck here. So like I said, I didn't film getting everything put back on it, but I did get the heads on it, all torqued down, all the valve train, injectors, all that shit. We also went ahead, got our Cp3 conversion installed, our new L5p Oil Cooler, a upgraded turbocharger. It's got a billet wheel in it now, and some other little goodies on that guy. So it is all ready to go. We have the truck in here. We're getting ready to put the engine in it. As you can see, we have the cab pulled just because it's easier to do it that way. And it also allowed us the ability to power wash off the rest of the frame because it was really dirty. So like I said multiple times now, we did have a couple of changes of scenery while putting this engine together, and I will touch on that a little bit more later. But for right now, we're gonna go ahead and get this engine installed. If Gary would get off his ass and help and accomplish something today. So we're gonna go ahead, jump back into a time lapse real quick and get this thing set in the chassis. So last night, me and Gary got a little bit sidetracked drinking beers and just going together with this thing. So filming it kind of got put on the back burner, but we did get quite a bit done. As you guys can see, the engine is pretty much fully assembled and ready for the cab to be set back down on it. There is a couple of things that we do need to finish up, like a couple of the ground cables and whatnot that I don't know off the top of my head where they go without the cab being on here. So little things like that, but as far as the rest of it goes, it is all complete and ready for the cab to be set back down on it. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do now, and then we will start getting the rest of the little stuff hooked back up on this thing, and with any luck, we might even get the truck started tonight, but still a little bit optimistic. I'm not quite sure what little problems we're gonna run into along the way. So we will address those when we get to them. But for now, let's go ahead and get the cab set back down on this thing. Well guys, it has been another couple of hours since the last clip you saw, and as you can see now, we have the front clip of the truck pretty much put back together. There is still a ton of stuff that needs to get done on the truck. Unfortunately, it's getting pretty late. I need to go home and get some sleep as I do have work tomorrow. So kind of at a standstill for tonight. But just to catch you guys up, we did get the front clip all back together on it. If you didn't see earlier, this thing did get a new radiator, intercooler, AC condenser, and transmission cooler. When I bought the truck, all of those coolers actually sat out in the hail and they were completely destroyed. So went ahead, replaced all of those, got the grill, headlights, front bumper, all that stuff on. We also got the hood lined up, so all of our body gaps are looking pretty good. So we can go ahead and shut that guy. You can see that the body gap there is pretty nice. Same with up front and same on this side. All that looks pretty good. The The reason I point that out is because they did have the entire front clip of this thing unbolted, and lining up all the body gaps after the core support and the fender's been off it and the hood's been off it is kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm pretty proud that it actually turned out really good. I'm not really a great body guy. I hate taking the time to align all that stuff, but yeah, like I said, I'm really happy with how it's all come out. So you can see that body line there is really good as well. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the truck. Sorry, trying to flip the camera around here. But that is indeed where we are going to leave off for tonight. I did want to try and get the truck started, but it is just too late and I don't have enough time to finish it up. So that's where we're going to leave off for this video. Hopefully next weekend we have about 1 day it's going to take to get this thing completely back together and up and running. Just going to apologize right now that I did not film more on this project. I know you guys are going to roast me down in the comments for it, but it is what it is. Hopefully there will be some more content with this truck very soon that isn't just working on it and a bunch of time lapses. So with that being said, I'm gonna get the hell out of here, go get some sleep. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and look forward to the next one where we do finally get this damn thing up and running. And if you wanna make sure you don't miss that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon, leave a like and a comment down below, blah, blah, blah. I know you guys love hearing that at the end of every YouTuber's video. So yeah, I'm gonna go home and get some sleep, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.